Oi, Topham, open up! What on earth? How do you explain this? Explain what?
The lack of an engine, or an express for that matter.
I see. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd excuse me for just a moment. So Topham Hatt went over to the sheds where Henry, Gordon, and James were sleeping. Wake up, all of you! Oh, good morning, sir. Forget the pleasantries, Gordon. You should have been up ages ago. The express is about to leave. After that, Henry, you have a local that needs to leave 30 minutes after. And James, you should have left with the early morning goods an hour ago. Henry's not going anywhere. Neither is James. Nor am I. Excuse me. We're on strike, sir. On strike? What for? For making us shunt. For public humiliation. And for the fact I spun around like a top. That last one sounds like a you issue, James. Regardless, there's work to be done and we can't have you three lazing about. Well, we won't be coming out. Either get us a shunter or we'll stay on strike. Fine, I'll make some arrangements. So Topham Hatt got in his car and went to Wellsworth, where Edward was.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Edward.
Is something the matter, sir? Gordon usually flashes past with the express by now.
As a matter of fact, there is. James, Gordon, and Henry are on strike.
On strike? But for what reason?
According to them, it's unfair treatment.
Sounds like this is more Gordon than Henry and James. But what does this have to do with me?
Well, it seems they're adamant on their position, so I was wondering, would you please come up to Knapford to help out, just for a short time?
I mean, I would love to, sir, but...
But what?
Who would run the yards here, as well as bank trains up Gordon's Hill?
Sir Topham Hatt looked away, then back at Edward. For the time being, they'll have to try their best. But please, Edward, for now, please go to Knapford.
Alright, sir.
Thank you, Edward. Sir Topham Hatt walked away. However, Edward looked down at his buffers.
Something tells me this won't end well.
Edward?
Gordon?
What are you doing here?
I'm here to shunt.
Pah! Did you hear that, boys? He's going to shunt for us.
I'm not surprised at you, Gordon. But James, Henry, I'm very surprised at you two. Henry, what's your motive?
Well, I want Sir Topham Hatt to stop subjecting me to public humiliation.
Like the tunnel incident. Henry, that lied solely on you if I remember correctly. Gordon, I'm sure your motivation is there is a lack of a shunter.
Correct.
But you, James, what's your motive?
Well, James wants to pull the express more often.
That's it? You want to pull the express?
Well, it was fun doing it once, and all I've done is pull goods since I pulled it last. Besides, in some sense Gordon is right. As tender engines we shouldn't shunt.
James, do you know what it means to be mixed traffic? It means doing whatever job necessary, be it pulling passengers, goods, or even shunting. When I was still here at the sheds, you were a prime example of a mixed traffic engine. But now you're the complete opposite of that.
Well, Don't you have our trains to shunt? Quit making James feel bad and get to work. Edward left the sheds to prepare trains for the bigger engines. He managed well at first. However, the bigger engines quickly began causing him trouble. Oh, Edward!
What do you want?
I need my coaches shunted sharpish. Then after I have a goods train that needs to be shunted.
Hold on for just a moment. I've almost shunted your goods train, Henry, and Gordon, I'll get your coaches shortly.
You'll get them now if you know what's good for you.
Watch yourself, Gordon.
Don't tell me to watch myself, little Edward. Now hurry up and shunt my train.
Oh, for goodness sake.
The bigger engines took advantage of Edward every chance they got. However, it would soon reach its boiling point.
What do you want, Gordon? I need a push out of the station, Black Wheels. Where do you get off calling me Black Wheels?
You went against our strike.
You mean your worst idea to date?
It was a brilliant idea.
Gordon, because of that, you nearly put a backlog on the work.
Well, if Thomas hadn't...
Don't bring Thomas into this. Thomas and his branch line.
At the cost of James being derailed.
Whatever. Get over to your train and I'll give you a push.
Gordon went over to the station, and Edward went over a little later to give Gordon a push. Edward then had to shunt Henry's goods train. However... Edward, what are you playing at?
I don't know, something must have been wrong with the track.
More like there's something wrong with you.
Pardon?
You're so old you probably weren't even paying attention. After all, you are rather old. You're borderline... Edward?
Sir?
I heard about what had happened. You left the yard after an incident. I must say, that's quite unlike you.
I know, sir. It wasn't professional. However, those three are insufferable. They bark orders at me, make fun of my age, and make life 10 times harder when I make mistakes. I had to draw a line in the sand. Please, sir, can you talk to them?
I can. I'm the controller of the railway, and I won't let... What do you mean you're back on strike? Sir, Edward has been no help at all. He's been working hard to shunt for you all. And he failed at it miserably. Thomas was more competent. He's caused numerous delays and shouldn't be shunting here anymore. Just bring Thomas back already. And what's your opinion on this, James?
Well, things haven't exactly been the same since Thomas left. Everything has gone haywire. Trains have been delayed and whatnot. I agree with Gordon and Henry. We do need a shunter other than Edward.
I see. If you three are so adamant on this decision, I'll make some other arrangements. Sir Topham Hatt walked away. The next day, it was pouring rain. Edward knew today would be much more challenging, but regardless, he attempted to do the work of Gordon, Henry, and James. However, there were endless delays.
Where have you been?
I'm terribly sorry, sir. I had to...
I don't care about your excuses. I care about my goods. If you can't deliver that, then I'll have lorries do your job instead.
Meanwhile, at Farquhar Station, Sir Topham Hatt had come to see Thomas. Good afternoon, Thomas.
Oh, good afternoon, sir. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. I sincerely apologize, but I've been dealing with some drama on the main line.
Ooh, some drama.
Yes, the 3 big engines have gone on strike.
Not shocking.
I know. And what's worse is that they left Edward with all the work. It's taking a toll on him.
I'm not surprised. Trying to do the work of 3 engines, that's too much for Edward. But, no offense, sir, you didn't come here just to gossip, did you?
No, I came here to ask you something. With all that's going down on the main line, would you please help out Edward?
Help on the main line? Sir, I'm not sure. Working on the main line, that's huge.
I know, Thomas, but please, I need your help. With Henry, Gordon, and James on strike, Edward can't manage on his own, and you're the only other engine I can trust to help. It'll only be temporary. I'm headed to London to look for a shunter.
I mean, what about the branch line?
We may have to let the roads help out for a while.
The roads? But sir, the roads, servicing the branch line, you can't be serious.
Thomas, please, I need your help.
And I suppose...
Fine, I'll do it. Very good, Thomas. Report to Knapford as soon as possible.
Yes, sir.
Sir Topham Hatt walked away, leaving Thomas concerned. Meanwhile, Edward was working himself to the frames. By the last express train of the day, he was exhausted.
Oh, how my wheels ache.
I know, old boy, but it's just one last passenger train to Vicarstown. We can spend the night there.
I know.
Edward blew his whistle and set off. Edward began to climb the steep hill. However, he began to slip on the wet rails.
Wait, who's there? Come on, Edward, we've got this. Thomas?
Yep, it's me. But what do you... Talk later. Focus on the train.
Right.
The two began working hard. Thomas pushed and Edward pulled. The two reached the top of the hill and went down the other side. They continued on until they reached Vickerstown. Phew! That was exhausting.
You're telling me you nearly burst a valve trying to get over that hill. I don't know what I'd have done without you.
Well, yeah. Thomas and Edward, good job the both of you.
Thank you so much, sir.
There are no engines I'm prouder of right now than you two. Some might call us really useful.
Sir, where are you going?
To catch the train to London. I'll stay overnight and hopefully return with a new engine tomorrow. Here's hoping to a new engine then. Indeed. Anyways, engines, I have a train to catch. See you soon. So Topham Hatt walked away, leaving Thomas and Edward to head to Vickerstown Sheds for the night.